Okay, so we are recording. Hi, everybody. This is the prologue and Act 1, Scene 1 of Romeo and Juliet. I suggest that you guys watch this through once and then go back and listen to it and follow along with the text so you can get a little bit more insight. So we are going to begin with our actors starting right now with the prologue.
Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows do, with their death, bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end naught could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage. The which, if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend.
Scene 1, Verona, a public place. Enter Samson and Gregory of the house of Capulet, armed with swords and bucklers.
Gregory, oh my word, will not carry.
No, for then we should be colliers.
I mean, and we be in collar, will draw.
Aye, while you live, draw your neck out of the collar.
I strike quickly, being moved.
But thou art not quickly moved to strike.
A dog of the house of Montague moves me.
To move is to stir, and to be valiant is to stand. Therefore, if thou art moved, thou run'st away.
A dog of that house shall move me to stand. I will take the wall of any man or maid of Montague's.
That shows thee a weak slave, for the weakest goes to the wall.
True, and therefore women, being the weaker vessels, are ever thrust to the wall. Therefore I will push Montague's men from the wall and thrust his maids to the wall.
The quarrel is between our masters and us, their men.
'Tis all one. I will show myself a tyrant. When I have fought with the men, I will be cruel with the maids and cut off their heads.
The heads of maids.
Aye, the heads of the maids, or their maiden heads. Take it in what sense thou wilt.
They must take it in sense that feel it.
Me they shall feel while I am able to stand, and 'tis known I am a pretty piece of flesh.
'Tis well thou art not fish. If thou hadst been poor John. Draw thy tool. Here comes two of the house of the Montagues.
My naked weapon is out. Quarrel, I will back thee.
Hal, turn thy back and run.
Fear me not.
No, marry, I fear thee.
Let us take the law of our sides. Let them begin.
I will frown as they pass by, and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as I dare, I will bite my thumb at them, which is a disgrace to them if they bear it.
Enter Abraham and Balthazar. Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at us, sir?
Is the law of our side if I say aye?
No.
No, sir, I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir.
If you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
No better?
Well, sir.
Day better. Here comes one of my master's kinsmen.
Yes, better, sir.
You lie.
Draw if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow.
They fight. Enter Benvolio.
Art, fools, put up your swords. You know not what you do.
Beats down their swords. Enter Tybalt.
What? Art thou drawn among these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio, look upon thy death.
I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me.
What, drawn, and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues, and thee. Have at thee, coward.
They fight. Enter several of both houses who join the fray. Then enter citizens with clubs. Clubs, bills, and partisans strike. Beat them down. Down with the Capulets. Down with the Montagues. Enter Capulet in his gown and Lady Capulet.
What noise is this? Give me my long sword, ho!
A crutch? Why call you for a sword?
My sword, I say! Old Montague is come, and flourishes his blade in spite of me.
Enter Montague and Lady Montague.
Thou villain Capulet, hold me not, let me go.
Thou shalt not stir a foot to seek a foe. Enter Prince with attendants.
Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel. Will thou not hear? What ho, you men, you beasts that quench the fire of your pernicious rage with purple fountains issuing from your veins on pain of torture from those bloody hands through your mistempered weapons to the grounds. And hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by thee, old Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets, and made Verona's ancient citizens cast by their grave deceiving ornaments to wield old partisans in hands as old, cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time, all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, go along with me. And Montague, come you this afternoon to know our further pleasure in this case, to old Freetown, our common judgment place. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
Exit all but Montague, Lady Montague, and Benvolio.
Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew, were you by when it began?
Here were the servants of your adversary, and yours close fighting ere I did approach. I drew to part them, in the instant came the fiery Tybalt with his sword prepared, which he breathed defiance to my ears. He swung about his head and cut the winds, who nothing hurt withal hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more, and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either parts.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray.
Madam, an hour before the worship sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drave me to walk abroad, where underneath the grove of sycamore that westward rooteth from the city's side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me, and he stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, that most are busied when they're most alone, pursued my humor, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who'd gladly fled from me.
Many a morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. But also soon as the all-cheering sun should in the furthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from the light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks far daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humor prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
My noble uncle, do you know the cause?
I neither know it nor can learn of him.
Have you opportuned him by any means?
Both by myself and many other friends. But he, his own affection's counselor, is to himself, I will not say how true, but to himself so secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud bit with an envious worm. Ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air, or dedicate his beauty to the sun, could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow, we would as willingly give cure as know.
Enter Romeo.
See, where he comes, so please you, step aside, I'll know his grievance, or much denied.
I would thou wert so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift. Come, madam, let us away.
Exit Montague and Lady Montague.
Good morrow, cousin.
Oh, is the day so young?
But new struck 9.
Ay me, sad hours seem long. Was that my father that went hence so fast?
It was. What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor, where I am in love.
Alas, that love so gentle in his view should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Alas, that love whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I've heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, oh brawling love, oh loving hate, oh anything of nothing first create. Oh heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking sleep, this is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, cuz, I'd rather weep.
Oh, good heart, at what?
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke raised with the fume of sighs, being purged a fire sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed a sea nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall and a preserving sweet. Oh, farewell, my cuz.
Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
Tut, I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He is some other where.
Tell me in sadness, who is that you love?
Oh, what shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan, why no, but sadly, tell me who.
Oh, bid a sick man in sadness make his will. Ah, word ill urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
An aim so near when I supposed you loved.
Right good markman, and she is fair that I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit.
Well, in that hit you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives unharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saint seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor that when she dies, with beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste.
She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste. For beauty, starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead, that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me, forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties.
'Tis the way to call hers exquisite and question more. These happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black puts us in mind they hide the fair. He that is strucken blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost. Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note, where I may read who passed that passing fair? Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine, or else die in debt.
All right, very nice, guys. So we're going to talk a little bit. The first question I want to throw out to you guys is, why do you think the prologue gives away the whole story at the beginning. You know, why do you think Shakespeare does that? Haley? Oh, look, she's raising her hand. Okay. Go ahead, Haley.
Well, so I think that kind of an important thing to remember when reading any kind of a Shakespeare play is the element of surprise is not what's important. You know, the prologue basically just spells out the whole play. And it's not because they're trying to give away the plot, it's just that they're trying to kind of set up what the themes are of the play that the audience can explore. The audience isn't going home and reading this play. The copies don't exist, and 2/3 of Europe are illiterate. So that part of theater is not existing in this time. So what I feel the prologue is serving is it serves a purpose as to kind of discuss what the themes are throughout the play, and also to just establish that this is a tragedy, and like most plays that are tragedies of this time, somebody or many people will die at the end of the play. A lot of people that are going to theater at this time already know what a lot of the plays are about. Any Greek tragedy that anyone is going to see at this time knows the story. Any history that Shakespeare has written, any play that is a history that he's written, they know the story. So instead of it being like, oh gosh, I didn't see Romeo and Juliet dying at the end of this, you know, that's not the reason that people are going to see this play. It's not for an element of surprise, you know. So I think that it serves as kind of a little bit of like an enticing tag at the beginning of the play, where the audience will go, oh, okay, so now I understand the setting, I get the setup, I get what the fight is about, and now I can kind of look forward to that as I watch the play.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
I just want to jump on that because I totally agree. Also, I mean, if you think about today in the modern world, even though not every movie starts this way, but you know, movies, we see previews before we go to the movie. Sort of understanding what it's about actually, I think almost creates a little more tension. It satisfies us differently, right? Like if you know, if you know you're going to a scary movie, a part of you knows you're going to be scared, and that sort of actually makes it more exciting. You know, I mean, obviously you're going to get scared, people are going to die, it's going to be scary. That's part, we want that. You know, you go to romantic comedies because you know that at the end, you know, people are going to get together. So, you know, knowing what's going to happen oftentimes, I think, almost enhances our expectation for what's to come, you know? And it also makes you listen differently because you're looking for that satisfaction. You're looking for, well, how is this going to happen?
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Also
I agree.
a reason.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? Go ahead, Amy.
So Kuba brought up a really good example of thinking about modern day scripts and plays and movies and TV shows that utilizes that idea of starting at almost the end as the beginning as a plot device. One of the ones that comes to mind immediately for me is if anybody's ever seen the first episode of Breaking Bad, the very first lines of the script actually are the ends of the episode. So you get that little taster of, you kind of know where it's going. So it's providing that idea of where your dramaturgical arc is going to go. So it's a great way to set up a script.
Nice. Okay, good. All right. So next question. What do you think is important to set up during the scene? So what do you think Shakespeare wanted to establish with Act 1, Scene 1? Go ahead, David.
I'd say it's important to set up the animosity, the conflict between the houses. And, you know, and seeing that, yeah, sure, there is some humor in it, and there is some levity in that, you know, it's just two guys standing around in a, you know, crowded square saying, I want to pick a fight. Let's start a fight. Oh, there we go. Perfect target right here coming down the street. It's interesting to see that, you know, they just hate each other, and we don't really know why yet, but we're starting it off kind of on a high note. You know, tensions are high, and we want people to feel that energy right out of the gate.
Okay, good. Any other thoughts about that? Like, what else? What do you need to establish from the beginning, or what is Shakespeare establishing from the beginning?
Kind of
after the prologue in that first scene.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of that. you know, when within this first scene, when you see Samson and Gregory talking, who are two kind of servants of the House of Capulet, you kind of know just it sets up how just deep this grudge and this divide is within the family. It's not just a disagreement among the heads of the households. It separates every single person that lives or abides by the rule of these two houses. And I think it's important to set that up so early because it kind of gives weight to everything else that happens throughout the play and why it's happening. Because I think if you start out kind of casual with it, where you know, the Montagues and the Capulets, you know, they don't get along too well, but like, I'm just the guard, I don't really care. It doesn't have as much weight to it. Whereas if they show literally every single person that is as minimally involved in this as they can be, is so ingrained in this argument between the households, it really gives the viewers a strong sense of where everyone stands in the play.
Okay.
I also think right from the beginning, there's a kind of like a right to die type thing. They're standing in the middle of the street, and the second that they see somebody coming, it's like, up, draw your sword, we're in for a fight, someone's dying today. You know, and to have that every time these people are now going to be seen with each other, it's going to be a fight. And that tension, as you guys were all saying, and that intrigue as to what's next. Holy crap, if this happens, then this is going to be the result. That the prince had to come in and say, you and you, out. Stop this. Done. You know, and considering what we're facing today, this is a wonderful story. Mm-hmm. And this setting is so wonderfully perfect from the onset. It shows these people hate each other. They're going to kill each other in the middle of the street if they look at each other the wrong way. It is so important in the beginning to make that so crystal clear. These families hate each other. Yeah. They hate each other to the death.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I say something too?
Yeah, go, Kuba.
I think too, the fact that we see the parents early on, you know, this is a story about, I mean, the protagonists are teenagers, right? And we get to see their parents we get to see the parents before we see them. We get to see so, I mean, and I always think about teenage stories, like the parents are always really important, even though they're not the main characters. Their influence affects everything that goes on and sort of the decisions all the people make, right?
Yep,
so when you see the temperament, you see like how mean Capulet can get, how quick-tempered, right? You see Montague, you see them. Then when you start, you know, why they're, you know,
scared. Oh wait, go back because you just froze. Go.
I'm sorry. You know, you sort of you understand like why they're as scared as their parents as they are. You know what I mean? It sort of it raises the stakes about what's going on with them in their lives.
Right.
You know, gives you more empathy for them too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We talked last time about like you mentioned who's missing. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Like who's the people who are missing in this?
Well, yeah, I mean, right? Like we don't see Juliet, we don't see Mercutio. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So somebody help me out. I'm blanking.
That's okay. That's all right. I had said last time we spoke that you know, we see that Romeo is very much in love. And the assumption is that it's Juliet because the play is called Romeo and Juliet. And I think it's set up that way on purpose. And the fact that Juliet is not the object of his love, I think is very, very telling. We don't know that yet, but that's going to be a very important piece as we move forward. All right, guys. Excellent job. Thank you, actors. And we'll see you for the next scene.